Cleveland! This is for you!
Talking about balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls. I am Justin George, joined as always by Kyle Price and Timbuktu. We are coming to you maybe live. Who knows?
Oh, it's absolutely live. I killed last week's show so well that I wore the same fucking clothes.
We actually talked about that. We were like, you know what? It brought good luck for the Cavs when I wore this. The series was 1-1 last week. Now we're heading in tonight, game 5. We're up 3-1. We are looking to close this series out against the Knicks, and that's why I'm wearing this outfit for good luck for the Cavaliers.
That's why I wore this one.
In 2 days.
Same underwear. Haven't changed it in a week.
In 2 nights at this time, just about.
I haven't brushed my teeth in a week.
That's normal.
Same
that's standard
Gatorade.
practice for Tim. In two nights, 48 hours, give or take, the Browns will be making their first selection Friday night for the NFL draft. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about. The NFL draft is tomorrow night. It is happening. It is in Kansas City. I am not going. First year.
Nobody's going.
This is the first year for me since 2005.
Are you sad?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I am a little bit. I've gone to the NFL
so you don't,
draft.
you're not losing those tickets. So
No, I'll get them back.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have been going to the NFL draft since 2005. I've been to New York, Chicago, Nashville, Texas, Philly. It was in Cleveland last year. Where the fuck was it? I was there. Vegas. COVID year was the only year I didn't go because they didn't have a draft. So I wasn't able to go.
And that was supposed to be Vegas.
And then this year, Kansas City, my friends were like, we don't really care about Kansas City. So my one buddy said, if I get us a suite at the fucking whatever it's called, the Grand something whatever in Disney, my treat, you guys just pay for your flights and pay for food and shit when you get there. Would you go? And I said, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, the Grand Riviera suite is where I'm at. Or Disney's Riviera Resort. We have a suite and I have my tickets for Disney. And he has gone as far as we have a personal tour guide who is going to be giving us a VIP tour with a shuttle bus picking us up from our hotel.
They can tell you all the shitty history of Walt Disney too.
Yeah, he's going to tell us about how Walt Disney was a pedophile, how he hated Jews. We're going to learn a lot about it. About how he was basically Kanye West, but just years before. But had the same values. But yeah, so we are going to do the draft special tonight, which of course it sucks because
tradition.
The Browns,
this is our 5th year doing it. Or
the Browns do not have a first round pick.
That's okay.
Again, which they won't for a while because of the Deshaun Watson trade. They also don't have a second round pick because of the Elijah Moore trade. So the Browns' first pick will be Friday night, pick number like 74, I think it is, or something like that in the 3rd round. So that's that. We're going to do a first round mock, and then after that, we are going to give some names to keep an eye out for. It's really hard to predict who the Browns would take here, not in the first round. Doing a first round mock, you can kind of list some names. 3rd round, I have no fucking idea who's going to be available. There could be a couple guys that are projected to be first round picks that slide. The board's going to be all fucked up. So what I'm going to do is just go over some names for everybody. That's the best I can do for you. But with that being said, we are here live from Studio 2, Growing Wings Adult Services, state-of-the-art Studio number 2. Growing Wings Adult Service has over 7 years experience of taking care of adults with disabilities. For more information, call Lisa at 234-334-7547. Tell them Talking About Balls and Redline Radio sent you.
It's amazing. If you like collecting stuff, you like collecting cards, toys, I don't know, teeth you had when you were a baby, or die-cast cars, I know a place you can go to. Pit Road Die-Cast. They specialize in all the current and past NASCAR people. The word die is a lot on here. Most people have died at NASCAR. Anyways.
Dale Earnhardt special.
Earnhardt special. Models, car kits for all your die-cast needs. Give them a call today at 216-355-2347. Mention Redline Radio and receive 10% off your first in-store purchase.
If you're looking for anything special, custom shirts, cups, anything, literally, they can put your logo, they can put your design and on any piece of memorabilia that you want. And it all looks really good. I don't know if you guys have seen Dave's cup that he just got with the Redline Radio logo on the side, embroidered. Beautiful. Or actually, it looks like it's laser etched. Actually, it looks great. But you can go to one place, and that's Incredible Keepsakes. They make t-shirts, cups, binders, keychains, you name it. Incredible Keepsakes can make it and customize it for you. Official merchandise provider of Redline Radio LLC and all of our show hosts. call 440-242-9648 or go to their website at incrediblekeepsakes.com. As Diane would say, cherished moments are made to last forever. If you want a shirt or a mug, he's got a mug right there that says Dynamite Dave. If you're a different Redline host, if you want a shirt that says, "Wah, I'm a fucking baby," they'll make that too if you really want it.
I know someone who want that. Let me tell you, his name. Exactly.
So they'll do it. They'll put that right on a shirt for you. They'll do anything you want. Check them out today. Tell them Talking About Balls sent you, and tell them we came with the fire.
Fire indeed. So I like fire. I like Fireball. I like drinking Fireball in just nice, quiet bars. You like quiet bars that has some karaoke, some good food, good atmosphere. Lucy's Pub, right? Am I correct? Lucy's Pub now?
Yes, and they now have the new kitchen is open, if I'm not mistaken.
Open indeed. Over at Broadview Road, Cleveland, Ohio. We've done a couple lives from there. I think we've done 3 from there now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
At least, 3. Yeah, good
they
call.
take care of their guests, great people, cheap drinks, good food. They have karaoke. They have men's night, women's night. They have whatever you want to identify as night sometimes, I believe, but it's a good time. Bring your family, bring your friends. Join them every Friday night for karaoke. And of course, all your hometown sports games. Contact them today at 216-675-0013. Trust us. We've been there multiple times. It's worth checking out.
Now, if you are ever in Pittsburgh, unfortunately, go check out a bar that is a sponsor of Redline Radio LLC and one of our shows, the Steel City Running Lates. That is Mike's Beer Bar, located across the street from PNC Park. Mike's Beer Bar, formerly known as Beerhead Bar. They're a premier craft beer destination in Pittsburgh with 80 rotating taps, over 500 beers. You are sure to find the perfect beer for any occasion. Stop in today and make sure you tell your friends, meet me at Mike's. Now, there's the hosts of Steel City Running Lates. Those 3 gentlemen could probably be found at Mike's Beer Bar during the season at some point. And of course, those hosts are as followed. Dynamite Dave is host number 1.
Like him.
Shipper is host number 2. And of course, how could we forget host number 3? Them out today. Make sure you go to Mike's Beer Bar. Check them out. Tell them Redline Radio and Steel City Running Lates sent you.
Great guys.
Great guys.
Great
Speaking of Steel City Running Lates, that show can be found at Studio 2 from 10 to noon on any Sunday during the season for the most part, whenever they feel
what
like.
What were the
doing
hosts
it.
again? I forgot. There was.
Oh, the host. You didn't know who it was? It
who?
is Dynamite Dave.
Yes.
Chipper, just
Okay.
the chip, whatever you want to call him. And of course, your hosts with the most.
Okay,
Check them
good.
out
Don't
Sundays
forget
from
them.
10 to noon. And then Loud and Local from 7:30 to 9:30. And then we got nothing on Mondays. Mondays are wide open. Sean Boyd used to be here.
It's a vacation day.
Sean Boyd decided he wanted to take his talents elsewhere, and I fully respect that. It sounds like he's doing really well. Tim's got that show with him. He probably left because of one of the station managers, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to point fingers.
It's okay.
Tuesday, Tim Buck Tuesday, my boy, our man behind the board, killing it. Killing it. Tim, your show last night was fucking amazing.
Really?
I cannot believe you pulled that out live on the air, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, he just whipped it out. It's insane. If you can get a chance, go back and watch that. It was crazy what he did. Please check it out. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised Facebook hasn't taken it down. I'm surprised you didn't get Zuckerberg. You know what I mean?
FCC got nothing.
Yeah, they're
on
going to
me.
be after you for sure. But check that out. Tim Buck Tuesdays every week, 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Redline Radio. Any of the channels, you'll find it. Live on location with Gary Wenner from 6 to 10. He's spinning the tunes. He takes
Good music.
requests.
Good music.
Great. And honestly, he'll play anything.
Absolutely.
Hit him up. He is a very, very, he's been doing it a long time. He's a veteran DJ. So check it out. Again, takes requests. Tell him what you want to hear. You got Broad Street South from 8 to 9, talking all things sports, mostly Philly and stuff like that, which is cool. You get a little different vibe. And here you got some Pittsburgh shit. You've got some Cleveland shit on there. You've got Philly. He's live from Tampa, Angeles. So you could check that out. Talk a little bit about everything. Cleveland's Finest. They'll be back soon. They're from 4 to 6 when they're back. Rob's got, life gets in the way. Happens to everybody. We look forward to them coming back. Congratulations for them and everything going on in his life. He's got a lot on his plate, and it looks like he's doing a great job. So kudos to him. And then you've got, talking about balls, the face that runs the place, 7 to 9 every Wednesday on Redline Radio. However, tonight we're doing another short show because it is the draft.
Yes.
This is the special.
We're
dedicating this.
We are focused.
Just for the NFL draft. Every year we do our mock draft, and our mock draft takes time. We put a lot of energy into
a
it.
lot of time, a lot of effort.
I don't have time to produce a second show and do a mock draft and come up with who I think the Browns are going to take. It's too much work. I don't have time for that shit. So you get one thing tonight, and that's just draft talk. Thursdays, you start off with that guy Dub from 3 to 4.
Busy day.
Thursday is, of course, For the Culture at Redline Radio. And then you've got Lex Vegas from 7 to 8. Lex Vegas won most popular show at Redline Radio.
Congratulations, Lex.
And honestly, who didn't see that coming? He brings it. He brings the heat. He's got such a good show. He's funny. He's got Tim in his corner. And of course, if you have Tim with you, your show's guaranteed to have success. And that's just, that's not a knock on any of the other producers here at Redline Radio. That's just science. That's facts. Tim is the man. We love him. We love working with him. And then Club Pizzle from 8:30 to 9:30 right after Lex Vegas. Check all that out again for the culture. On Redline Radio Studio 2, you got Broad Street South from 8 to 9.
Philly.
And then from 5 to 7, you've got. Check that out, of course, exclusively redlineradio.lc.com. Friday night, you've got our boy, the Grape. My man, I love Grape. Again, his show this month, huge numbers.
Yeah.
The highest improvement. He's if this were the MVP or the NBA, Grape won most improved player.
Absolutely.
No question about it. We couldn't be prouder of him. And, I don't want to take any of the credit, but I know that when he was on our show, he left and he was like, wow, I learned a lot about, like, you guys put a lot into it, like how to get the show going. I hope he took notes. If he didn't, I'm not trying to take any credit.
Hey, he's found a niche and he just keeps on going.
His show's it's great. It's getting better every week. We're happy to be a part of it. We're happy to promote him all the time. We love Grape. So shout out to him. 6 to 8. Check that out. Redline Radio. And then from 8 to 10, you've got. Make sure you check that out. Don't miss an episode.
I've never missed an episode.
Tell him Talking About Balls sent you.
Always
he would love to hear it.
Very inspirational stuff.
He would be so flattered. So check that out. Tell him we sent you. On Saturday mornings, you can wake up early and you can check out Dave and Adam with Unscripted. You never know who they're going to have in studio.
Love it. Hats off to Dave and Adam. Love the show.
Could be anybody. Could be somebody with a guitar. Could be a rapper. Could be somebody playing pots and pans. You never know what they're going to have, but they bring it. I like that. It's just random shit every week. This week, I believe, or last week, I'm sorry, Chipper was just on. Chipper was a guest host. That's always good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess you didn't tune in. Oh, you were in New York. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you were in New York.
I was living the big life. I was dodging bullets.
You were in the Big Apple.
Dodging bullets.
And then you got 4th and 15 from 2 to 12 with Mel, Smooth, and Rico. Check that out. Tell them Talking About Balls sent you. We love those guys. Always glad to hear them. And you've got Comedy and Cocktails with Jen from 8:30 to 9:30, and TMI has moved to 6 to 8. 6 to 8. TMI has changed.
Why would the fucking board be
the board
correct,
is
though? 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, the board has not gotten fixed. We're going on a long time now. It's just too much work for some people, I suppose. Anyway, I digress. That's all the shows you can check out at Redline Radio. And we here Talking About Balls have a show to get into, and it is the
No, we don't have a show. We have a draft to get into.
That's true. I think the commissioner's walking up to the podium now. Tim, can you confirm this? That means the Carolina Panthers are on the clock and the pick is in.
They are on the clock. And I heard a little rumor that you were going to hit a curveball here out of the first one, so I got to let you lead in with this.
So, obviously, Kyle and I joke. This is like the NCAA tournament where there's never been a perfect score.
We come close.
And there's never been a mock draft that's been 100% accurate to my knowledge.
I'm going 100%.
You never know. The one thing, obviously, I think Kyle will follow this rule. I believe you remember the no trade rule.
No trade rules.
I have a no trade rule in my mocks. If your mock includes a trade, I immediately disregard it and I leave because I feel like, to me personally, this is just me, I feel like it's lazy.
Yeah.
That's where you can kind of get wild and you're like, all right, I have them trading up. Like you could do whatever the fuck you want. And
make
for
up
me,
random shit.
Here's the order. Obviously, trades that have happened in real life.
That's in the
are
order.
Accounted for. We account for that. But I don't do mocks where I'm like, ooh, well, the second pick, I have the Raiders trading up. And I don't do that. It's just too much work.
As of today, April 26th.
Yep.
Our order is set. No trades, no nothing.
Just as
we're running at 1 through 31.
God intended. The order is the order.
So
and we're going to start off. Carolina's on the clock. They, of course, traded up to get to this spot with the Chicago Bears. They moved from 9 to 1. And
big move.
They, of course, traded up to get a quarterback. The question
Absolutely.
is, which quarterback are they taking? The rumblings I've heard, they need a lot. Their team sucks. They need a quarterback, a wide receiver. They need a corner, an edge, tight end, guard, defensive line. They need everything.
New water boy, everything. Yes.
They did sign Sam Darnold. They kept him. Or no, I'm sorry. Sam Darnold left. They brought in Andy Dalton. I apologize.
Yes.
So they brought in Andy Dalton. So
I understand they look the same.
So they're definitely going to take a quarterback and more than likely who will not play to start the season. Andy Dalton will probably be the starter for a couple of weeks just to get that new quarterback eased in. The question is who? Everybody and their brother, at first when they made this trade, CJ Stroud became the betting favorite.
Okay.
Now, as we're here on April 26th, as Kyle said, the betting favorite is Bryce Young. Bryce Young has flown up the charts.
Is that your pick?
I haven't made my pick yet. How dare you? I'm just reading the news. I'm reading the news. Bryce Young is the pick, according to Vegas. But according to my mock, he is not. Spoiler alert, I am going CJ Stroud, the number 1 pick in the draft. And that's not because any Ohio State ties. It's because he is the bigger stronger quarterback. Bryce Young is a very, very good collegiate quarterback. However, he's like 5'9". That does not
5'8"
translate.
and a half.
Yeah, I was giving him the benefit
If
of the
he's
doubt.
wearing socks, 5'9".
He's very short, and that just doesn't translate in the NFL. Look at any short quarterback. There are very few that have had success. Drew Brees had success, but he's taller than Bryce Young.
Correct.
Russell Wilson, taller than Bryce Young and had success. Any other short quarterback, no success. Kyler Murray should be the prime example why the Carolina Panthers should not take Bryce Young number 1, because that really small quarterback, it's hard for them to stay healthy. It's hard for that to translate in the NFL.
Can't see over the line.
It's
have
just
to throw between defenders.
You have to change so much about your team and your offense, and it's almost impossible for that to translate and to work in the NFL. So for that, I told my friends today as I was making this mock and finalizing it, because I like to wait till the day before the draft to get my mock in. That's
I
what
like
we're doing.
that. It's good research.
I cannot justifiably say Bryce Young will be the number 1 pick. I can't imagine you trading up as the Carolina Panthers, seeing the lack of success in short quarterbacks and going, taking this guy.
Yep.
But then again, the Carolina Panthers seem like a dumb organization. They seem like they're not a well-run place. They don't know what they're doing. So taking Bryce Young would make sense for them.
Yes.
But I just can't, in my gut, in my mock draft, I can't do it. I don't feel right doing it. So again, I am going with CJ Stroud, the number 1 pick in the draft.
Solid pick. I honestly thought you were going to throw a big curveball at me and pick the quarterback out of Florida going number 1 there.
No. I barely wanted to put him in the first round, and I'll explain that when I get to him.
So I agree with you. CJ Stroud, I think, is the first quarterback off the board going to the Carolina Panthers. I did not even for once consider Bryce Young going here. I think the team that's behind Carolina, no spoilers, is a little more stupider.
So the only reason
than Carolina.
The only reason I'm really thinking of Bryce Young at 1 is because of the rumors I'm hearing. And
Sure.
again, it's pre-draft. So what you've heard over the last few weeks is you hear a lot of smoke. A lot of shit comes out about players it's used as a tactic. It's really shitty, and it's really fucked up that teams do this. But a team, let's just say hypothetically, again, I'm not accusing anybody, but let's just say hypothetically, let's say the Las Vegas Raiders love CJ Stroud, but they know they can't get him because they're like, fuck, he's going to go 1 or 2.
Yep.
So they're a team, they will have the press leak out that, oh, CJ Stroud skipped a meeting. CJ Stroud was late. He didn't interview well. He failed this test. Teams are going to try to make guys look bad because they hope that that's going to make a team go, and we don't want him right now. We'll wait. And he's going to slide down the board. It happens. I've seen it happen to really good players where all of a sudden some bullshit will come out of like, oh yeah, he didn't test well with the teams. And then he gets drafted 5 picks later than he should have, and a team gets a steal, and they're like, fuck yeah, because they were probably the ones that leaked it. So it's a really shitty thing to do. They're playing with people's career, with people's money. But it happens.
Yep.
And that's happening to CJ Stroud.
Yep.
Last week, there was a guy whose son, I forgot it. It was I forgot who it was.
2 weeks ago, right?
Or, yeah, whatever, a week or 2 ago, somebody came out from Vegas. Well, there was more stuff that came out. Yeah, I was thinking of 2 different things. So 2 weeks ago, a guy that his son works for the Vegas Raiders leaked information that CJ Stroud did a really bad job on their testing that they do. That came out. And then everyone's like, okay, how ironic that the guy leaking it has a family member working for the Las Vegas Raiders. Kind of ironic how that works out. And then last week, another one came out that CJ Stroud, it was from Brady Quinn, who's going, oh, I heard CJ Stroud no-showed the Manning camp. He ghosted him, and that he has questionable character issues and things like that. So there's a lot of smoke
Who
coming
does
out.
Brady Quinn get paid by?
I mean, I think ESPN, isn't it?
Yeah, so what the hell he's doing?
I mean, it could be for any. It could
Yeah.
have just honestly been a team reached out to Brady Quinn and just asked him, "Hey, we heard this news," and Brady Quinn took it, posted it, and everyone ran
Gotta
with
be
it.
smarter than that,
But
Brady.
it could have been the fucking Raiders again who leaked it, and they wanted Brady Quinn to put that out there.
They think he's gonna fall to 7 to him.
So that's just weird shit that happens about pre-draft to make a guy slide. But I'm not falling for it. The other rumor, though, that makes me think otherwise is that the owner of the Carolina Panthers likes Bryce Young. That's the only thing I've seen that makes me think they would take him, because the GM would just go, all right, the owner's telling me I have to take him. But if it's me, if I'm the GM, I don't do what the owner says, because if the team sucks because you took a quarterback you didn't want, you get fired, you're on your ass, not the owner.
Yeah.
So fuck that guy. I'm doing what's best for me and my resume, and for my team, I would take CJ Stroud.
Yep, I agree. First pick, CJ Stroud.
Now moving on to the Houston Texans, Roger Goodell is up at the podium and the pick is in.
So, second pick. This team also needs a quarterback. They also need other stuff too. The edge, that defensive line,
They needed almost all
wide
of it.
receiver,
They suck.
center, everything. But I think here, this is where Bryce Young goes. I think Bryce Young goes to the Houston Texans. I don't think it gets past them because I don't see him falling any further than this. But yeah, they need a quarterback. Maybe this is the guy for them. Maybe it rejuvenates their offense. I don't see it happening, but I don't see him passing 2. I do think that Bryce Young goes to the Houston Texans here.
I agree with you here. I have Bryce Young as the pick here for number 2
Absolutely.
to the Houston Texans. And as you said, everything. I mean, bold pick. They desperately need a quarterback. If he were 3 inches taller, he's the no-brainer number 1 overall pick.
Sure.
But he's not. So that's why I think he has to slide. But I think Houston's going to take a chance. I think most of that, they just fired Lovie Smith last year. They're going through another coaching change. I think Nick Castelliaro, however you say his name, the GM, knows he's on his last leg. You got to make a home run swing here, and that swing is going to be Bryce Young.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I don't like the pick. I personally don't think Bryce Young's going to have a really good NFL career because of his size. Maybe I'm wrong. You never know. But I don't like the pick. But that's why Houston's going to take him, because they're not a very good team. Next up, number 3, the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock, and they are ready to select Goodell. The Arizona Cardinals need a lot. They need defensive line. They need edge. They need running back. They need a tight end. They need a guard, center, corner, and a wide receiver.
Who doesn't need a tight end?
Some people don't like them that tight. They like them a little loose.
A little
Don't judge.
loosey-goosey.
We don't judge. But for me, I have Arizona staying put because, again, we don't do trades. Gun to my head, Arizona's trading out of this pick. However, I don't do trades. So they are going to take Will Anderson, the number 1 edge rusher in this draft class, out of Alabama.
I am 100% agreeing with you on this.
We
one.
are 3 for 3.
100%
ladies and
agreeing
gentlemen.
for you on this one because I'm agreeing with you twice. I do believe they're trading out of this spot though.
And I think there's no chance the Arizona
Yeah,
Cardinals
no,
are picking right here.
No, I think they're going to drop back. I think
There is going to be a team who's going to look at the available quarterbacks, whether that's Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, God forbid. There's going to be a team that looks at those quarterbacks and goes, the Colts are taking one.
Yep.
I have to get ahead of the Colts, who, spoiler alert, they're picking 4th. So they're going to say, I got to jump them.
Yep.
And they're going to trade up and they're going to take a quarterback,
Yep.
more than likely. However, because I don't do trades, Will Anderson.
Yes, agree. Yes, Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama
Correct.
going to
Back-to-back
the
Alabama boys.
Cardinals.
Now, next up, pick number 4,
Goodell coming up the Colts.
the Indianapolis Colts. The pick is in.
And I believe we are going to differ here for the first time. We went 3 for 3. We usually don't. We usually go pretty
Let's
far
see what
down.
you got, because Kyle and I do not tell
Well,
each
we
other
don't
our
talk.
picks in advance. There is no discussion.
We do not
Kyle just
talk.
told me yesterday. He goes, "My draft is done, and he's
I
ready
feel
to
good.
go."
I felt good.
I finished mine today because I like to do it on the eve of the draft. So here we are.
I did mine while watching. Well, actually, yeah, this is watching the Cavs last week when I was finishing it up. So I'm early. I jumped ahead, went back through last night, and just kind of tweaked it a little bit. I moved a couple
That's
people
why we're
around.
only doing an hour tonight, because the Cavs game 5 is getting ready to start.
Yeah,
So
we have to get to the
We
game.
want to get out of here.
So my pick here, they're taking quarterback, and I believe they're going with Anthony Richardson out of Florida as their quarterback pick here. Now, mind you, again, no trades. I do think the Colts are going to make a trade for a quarterback or sign one
I
before
could
the
see
draft.
if the Cardinals do trade out and a team leapfrogs the Colts to take a quarterback, I could see the Colts back trading out now,
Yep,
because that's
yep.
where Will Anderson will be staring a team in the face at 4, and they're going to go, fuck it, it's worth moving up to get
Yeah,
him.
absolutely. But I do, if they stay here and they don't make any trades, any signings, I think Anthony Richardson is the quarterback they go for here.
I do not have Richardson here. I do have a quarterback. However, Anthony Richardson is a project. He is raw in the fullest extent or fullest definition of the word. He needs a lot of work. Their only quarterback that they can throw out there is Gardner Minshew. For me, that's not a good enough security blanket for a guy like Anthony Richardson. You need a legitimate starter that can put in some minutes and some time in front of him before he's ready to touch the field. That's why I have them taking Will Levis, quarterback out of Kentucky. I do have them taking a quarterback, but not Anthony Richardson, because I think Levis could be ready to play a little sooner than Richardson. And I
Mhm.
also heard rumors that the Colts love him.
Mhm.
So that's
Perfect.
why I'm going with Will
Like
Levis. Next up, we have pick number 5, the Seattle Seahawks via the Denver Broncos. This was a trade that they got for Russell Wilson when they dealt him last year. And boy, did that work out. The Russell Wilson totally sucked ass, and the Seahawks are picking 5th because of him.
Yeah,
Kind of nice.
crazy.
So
Here comes
Um,
Goodell tripping his way to the
Goodell
podium
is
right now.
running up there for the Seahawks. Him and Pete Carroll, 2 old guys, probably love
Frolicking,
wearing New
holding hands,
Balances, just having a
Jean
great time.
shorts.
The Seattle Seahawks, they need a lot. They need an edge. They need a safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, wide receiver, guard. Here, best bang for their buck, they're going to go with Tyree Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech.
Amazing. We're back on the same train again.
Okay, we just had a little hiccup.
Little
with the
hiccup there. A little
quarterbacks.
hiccup. Tyree
I just
Wilson.
personally, I don't like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, it's fine.
I just don't think he's going to be good. I think his completion percentage was like barely 50% in
Yeah.
college. That's abysmal.
Yeah.
And it only gets harder in the NFL. So I just don't know how that's going to work.
I just think the hype train for Richardson has been blown up so much that I think
It reminds me of Malik Willis.
They're not going to want to miss out on this hyped up quarterback right now.
However, remember last year though, the Malik Willis hype? Where
Yeah.
I put him in my first round of my mock because there was so much hype. I was like, I guess the Steelers will take him.
Teams were smarter.
And then the fucking dude didn't go till like late in the third.
Yeah.
His teams were like, this guy stinks.
They-
So I'm hoping this happens with Richardson because I got a lot of friends that we argue every day about Anthony Richardson. So we'll
But
talk about
I
that
agree.
later.
I agree with you. I am on the Tyree Wilson train as well. Texas Tech edge. I believe he goes here again. Mind you, no trades, but I believe he goes here.
All right. Next up, the
the-
Detroit
Ooh.
Lions have this pick because of the shitty Los Angeles Rams. Another great trade for a team that just gets to take a top 10 player. How awesome is that?
I like it. And Detroit is a team that's only going to get better.
Yep.
And
They
I
are a
believe-
really good team. And they, for me, they were really close to making the playoffs. They now are
Mhm.
going to have a healthy Jamison Williams. You're playing with house money here.
I do. And I think with this pick, they're going to solidify that defense. We're going to stay on the. Sorry, hold on, Goodell. Are you up there yet?
He made his way.
Okay. We're going to stay on the edge train here. I got them taking Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa as an edge
Okay.
rusher.
We're a little different. I dropped my pen, and that really bothers me mid-show, so I got to pick it
wow.
up.
This guy, professional.
I do it all the time. I
Dropping
drop my pen
stuff.
so fucking much. I need to just bring like 10 pens with me.
Squirrel.
All right, I'm back. So I'm with you on the defensive line train. However, I'm going with a different position. I look at this as there is a talented player in this draft who is, because of the media,
Mm-hmm.
because of allegations, because of stories, draft stock is plummeting. However, most people, most boards that I've seen, Jalen Carter is the number one prospect for most teams. But
Mhm.
because of all his legal bullshit and red flags, teams are going to pass.
I like it.
Detroit is a team, again, they're playing with house money. This isn't their original pick. This is just take best player available. They need a defensive tackle. If you can walk away with arguably the best player in this draft and you're going to pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson, you do this 10 times out of 10. So for me, I say Detroit says, fuck it. Dan Campbell can work with this kid. Dan Campbell seems like he's a man of the people. Players love him. They'll run through a wall for him. You add a player as talented as Jalen Carter, knocked it out of the park with this pick if they do this. Defensive tackle out of Georgia, of course, that is Jalen Carter. I have the Detroit Lions taking
I
him
was
right
back
here.
and forth.
And that's going to be a scary D-line.
He
if
was
that
on. He
happens.
was on my board, but I also think it's a scary D line too if you go with Van Ness as well. I mean, I think it's.
Oh, for sure. I just think
But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
getting a
sure.
potential Aaron Donald clone
Yeah.
next to Aiden Hutchinson, woo, good
I
luck.
like it. I like it.
Next up, we have the Vegas Raiders picking number 7.
Vegas rumor starter Raiders.
They need tackle, guard, center. They need an entire offensive line. They need a corner. They need a defensive lineman. They or tackle. They need a linebacker and a safety. They need a lot. With that being said, Roger Goodell is walking up to the podium right now, and they are taking Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, out of Oregon. Not the sexiest pick, but he could be the top corner in this entire class. Most people think he is. Good pick for them. They need a corner in the worst way. Their defense stunk last year. They blew how many second half leads?
Yeah,
They were
agree.
abysmal.
They
So
get
getting a
burned a lot.
corner is huge.
And we are back on the train again. I got
Really?
Gonzalez going
Wow.
here to the Raiders.
All right. Next up, we go down to the dirty South with the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons. They are on the clock. They finished last year 7-10.
They need quarterback, edge, linebacker. Need a lot of help as well.
They're apparently rolling with Desmond Ritter, so we're going to see how that works out for them.
Yeah.
And they have the 8th overall pick. Kyle, what say you after Mr. Goodell hits the stage?
And with the 8th pick, I have Mr. Georgia boy staying home and playing for the Atlanta Falcons. I got Jalen Carter going to the Falcons here.
Okay, good pick. I have a Georgia alum also,
Oh, yeah?
but obviously Jalen Carter's off my board. The Atlanta Falcons addressed every position on defense except for defensive end. Their defensive end pickups, I mean, they got Calais Campbell. They got
Yeah.
a bunch of old guys that I don't think are going to be consistent and healthy and contribute. So they need to get youth.
Yep.
And that is none other than Nolan Smith, defensive end from Georgia, stays home in Georgia there, goes to Atlanta, and a defensive end is exactly what they need.
I
So I
like
think
it.
that's a steal of
It's
a
a good
pick for
pick.
them. That'd be a really good pick. Next up, you got the Chicago Bears using that pick that they got from the Carolina Panthers trade. They need to do some work for Mr. Justin Fields. So let's see what Mr. Goodell is telling the audience. The Chicago Bears say, Mr. Justin Fields, what could we get you to help you? How about a familiar face? How about Mr. Paris Johnson, an offensive tackle from Ohio State? And this isn't a pick just because of the homer. It's because they need an offensive lineman to protect Justin Fields, and Paris Campbell is the best offensive lineman in this class. So that's just a smart pick for them. If you want to keep your franchise quarterback upright and healthy, you got to get him an offensive tackle, and that's Paris Campbell.
I just have to show so you don't think we're making shit up.
I'll only look at that one. I don't want to see anything else. Or Paris Johnson. I keep saying Paris Campbell.
But
That's
I'm
the wide
saying
receiver.
I'm just going with the fact that again, we don't talk about this. But I agree with you.
That's crazy that Kyle had the same exact thing.
I
thought you were laughing because of the OSU connection.
No. I have Paris Johnson going here to the Bears because it only makes sense. You need protection around this man. He's not going to make it very far in his career if he keeps on getting sacked and rushed out of the pocket. So this is a very solid pick. I think this is one of the best offensive linemen in this draft right now. I think this is a great pick for Chicago. I think he does fall here and goes to Chicago.
And last year with Justin Fields, I mean, albeit it was all rushing, but he at one point was like the highest scoring fantasy football player. Yeah. He was killing it. So imagine if they can keep him give him an extra second or two in the pocket, and that would be Paris Johnson. So I got my Paris's mixed up. I kept calling him Paris Campbell because there was another ex-Ohio State player from named Paris Campbell. So I got confused.
Either way, we're through 9 picks and we've only differed on 3. So
yeah,
pretty impressive so far.
Positions have been the same, damn near. Like we just had all right, defensive lineman and quarterback, just different names.
Let's see if we can keep it going. We got Philly up on the clock here.
So we're definitely going to be off here because the guy I have them taking, you already have drafted. So definitely going to be wrong, but could be the same position. So Philly acquired this pick from their trade with the Saints last year, where the Saints traded up to take Chris Olave. And the Philadelphia Eagles, they need a safety. They need a running back, linebacker, defensive tackle, edge rusher, wide receiver, guard. And with that being said, Goodell, let's hear what Kyle has to say.
I have them taking none of those positions. I have them going after the kid out of Illinois, Devin Witherspoon.
Cornerback. All right. He's a guy who is skyrocketing up the boards. I actually just saw a thing that Vegas has him projected to not make it out of the 6th pick. For me personally, I think it's a lot of hype. I think he goes to Philly at 10. I think it's a hell of a pick for them. I have him going a few picks later. Spoiler alert. He's not off my board yet. I have the Philadelphia Eagles taking Lucas Van Ness, the defensive end out of Iowa, because they need to replace Brandon Graham. He's not getting any younger. They need the defensive line help. They were just in the Super Bowl.
They had a great defense. They bought their defensive line though last year.
They did. And now they get to get a rookie on a 5-year contract. It's a smart move for them. Hopefully bolsters that up for the future. So I have them taking Lucas Van Ness.
I like it.
Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans coming to the state, or making their pick with Goodell coming to the stage. The Titans are in a weird situation. They need an offensive lineman at every position. They need wide receiver help. They could use a quarterback because Ryan Tannehill might not be the answer, it's looking like. They need a running back because the rumors Derrick Henry could be on his way out. They need a linebacker. They need an edge rusher. They need a little bit of everything. They lost a lot in the offseason, but Mike Vrabel is a great coach. This is where Anthony Richardson. I have the Tennessee Titans taking him because you can sit behind a Ryan Tannehill for a full season and learn the NFL. This could be a Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers kind of situation. I'm not comparing Ryan Tannehill to Aaron Rodgers by any stretch of the imagination, but you understand what I'm saying. I think this is a good spot for him to learn. Sit back. You don't have to be rushed in. If you are forced to play, you have a great running back in Derrick Henry, assuming he's still on the roster, as a little bit of a security blanket. Last year, they drafted Treylon Burks, the wide receiver. So you've got a little bit of young pieces there. And again, you've got Mike Vrabel, great head coach. So I think Anthony Richardson could be the pick. I don't like this pick. I don't love making it. I'm going with the hype train of Richardson being a first-round pick. I don't think his talent is there. I think he is a project. He's a day 2 pick, in my opinion, that you can draft and stash. And hopefully he gets better. Don't think he deserves to go this high, but crazier things have happened in the NFL. I'm falling for the hype to an extent.
For the hype, kind of 11 pick, not really. It's kind of a. But I don't think they take the hype train pick 2 years in a row. I think this year they play it safe. They addressed their biggest need, which I believe is offensive line, and they draft a kid out of Northwestern, Peter. Is it Skoronski? Yes.
It's Skoronski, however you say it. Yeah. All right, that's a good pick. I mean, they could absolutely use that. Again, as I mentioned, they literally need a tackle, a guard, and a center. So Skoronski plays every position. He's the kind of guy that you can honestly put at any spot on the offensive line. He's very multi-talented, great offensive lineman. He is the Swiss Army knife of offensive linemen. He's a really good guy to have. I have him going in a few picks, spoiler alert. But that would be a good pick for Tennessee. I just think if Anthony Richardson's going anywhere, I had to look at the teams, and I'm like, this is the only one that really makes sense in this position. So had to go with it.
Not really. The team picking 13 could use a quarterback because who knows where they're going.
They don't have one right now at all, and it doesn't. rumors are flying that they're not getting the guy they thought they were going to get.
But before that, we have the Browns pick. That was the Browns pick. Now going to Houston.
Houston playing with house money.
And Goodell throwing up the card.
Goodell is up there. He's doing the horns for the Texans. Loves them.
And when you draft a quarterback, you need a receiver to throw it to, correct?
That helps.
I believe there's a good one sitting in Ohio State they're going to draft here with Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he goes to the Houston Texans and gives at least somewhat of a target for Mr. Bryce Young to throw to.
It's a really good pick.
Mm.
I happen to have the same thing. I have
Hey,
Jackson
we're back
Smith
again.
and Jigba as my 12th overall pick
Look
here
at
on my
that.
mock.
Great minds, great minds.
And as Kyle said, same thing. They just traded Brandon Cooks to Dallas in the offseason here. They don't have any wide receivers. Their wide receiver class sucks, or room sucks. If you draft a quarterback, you got to get him a little help. They already have a pretty decent offensive line. Their running game is pretty good. You expect Dameon Pierce to come back healthy because he was hurt last year. So one thing you got to do if you're going to have this little quarterback, you got to get him some weapons to throw to. And Jackson Smith-Njigba is a guy you can just chuck the ball up to, and you're pretty confident he's going to come down with it.
Absolutely.
So that'd be a really good combination. So I had
that
the same exact
offense
thought.
would intrigue me a little bit. A little bit.
To an extent.
I stressed a little bit part.
Emphasis on little with Bryce Young back there. Next up, we do have the New York Football Shitty Jets. That team can go fuck itself because my friends are Jets fans, so I hate them. And I'm open with my friends. I tell them that. I'm like, you know what? I know we're close. We're all boys. Usually you support your friends and you do all that. I don't live like that.
Not you.
Any friend I have that likes a team that isn't my team, that team can go fuck itself. I root against it openly, and I let them know it.
You get shit on.
So even if the Jets aren't playing the Browns, I want them to lose. Even when the Knicks are in a playoff series about to lose to the Cavs, I want them to lose. And the Mets, wherever you are tonight, I didn't look at the schedule. I hope you lose. Oh, and when Edwin Diaz went down with that injury, I couldn't send them the Nacho Libre gift fast enough of him playing the fake trumpet. I loved it. I fucking hate all things New York because of these guys. And that team stinks. They were a fluke last year. Their head coach was an idiot. They couldn't figure out the quarterback situation. Joe Douglas, their GM, wasted picks on Zach Wilson a couple of years ago. That guy fucking sucked too. They need a guard. They need a tackle, a tight end, linebacker, safety, quarterback, obviously, center, and defensive lineman. And Goodell is on his way to the podium to let everybody know that they are taking Peter Skoronski here. That's who I have them taking. And this is with the mindset that they are going to somehow get Aaron Rodgers. This pick very well could be traded on draft night for Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't do trades. You guys know the rules. If it didn't happen already, it ain't happening here. So I have them taking the offensive lineman that can play any position because Mekhi Becton has been a bust. He can't stay healthy. Their offensive line sucks. They've got Elijah Vera Tucker at guard, who's another one who couldn't stay healthy. He's had his issues. So they need some offensive line help, and Skoronski can play on any position on the line. So it's a good guy to get if you have a 40-year-old ayahuasca-toting quarterback who
whatever keeps them upright. That's all you need.
Needs to live in a black hole just to get through life. Still weird.
I always live in a black hole, man. That's just life.
So that's why I have the offensive lineman out of Northwestern going to the Jets.
Different names, same position though.
Sure.
I got the Georgia offensive lineman Broderick Jones going to the Jets here because again, same philosophy or mindset you're thinking. You assume they're going to get Rodgers. You need someone to protect them. This is a great pick for him right here if they get him.
That would make sense.
Ooh, the Patriots are on the board.
Next up for the Patriots, they need a tackle, a tight end, wide receiver, linebacker, edge, safety, defensive line.
And Goodell, please ring my bell. I have them going with the safe pick here. They get a tackle, offensive tackle, Darnell Wright out of Tennessee.
I think they wanted, and this is all in my head because this is how I do my thought process. They wanted, there's a patented JG burp this week. They wanted Peter Skoronski.
Yep.
They were really excited to get him. However, he just slipped through the cracks. So they're going to go with the next best player on their board. And that is a guy who Kyle had going in the top 10. I didn't really agree with. Devin Witherspoon, corner out of Illinois. This is a value pick. He is going to turn into their next J.C. Jackson 2.0. So that's who I have the Patriots taking. This is just best player available. Cornerback may not be the biggest position of need for them, but when you're drafting in the mid-first like this, you don't really go for need. You go for best player available. Yep. So I have them taking Devin Witherspoon.
I like that. Good pick.
Next up, Goodell is on his way to tell us who the Green Bay Packers are taking, and I'm ready to hear it. The Packers need a lot. They're going in potentially with Jordan Love at quarterback. Offensively, they need a lot. They need a wide receiver, a tight end. They need a guard. On defense, they needed some defensive linemen, a safety, edge rusher, linebacker. They need it all. They're not very good. I think this team's going to really stink next year. I don't trust Jordan Love personally.
Sad Packer fans.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough go for these guys that are used to a lot of winning and success. So with that being said, Roger Goodell just alerted everybody that the Green Bay Packers are taking Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. They're going to get Jordan Love some weapons because their tight end room wasn't good last year. They lost Robert Tonyan. They really need a tight end right now. So I have them going with Dalton Kincaid, who I think is the consensus top tight end in the draft.
I like that. Is he?
Correct.
There's another guy out there who's better, I think.
Who's maybe won't even get taken in the first round.
Yeah, he'll get taken in the first round. Anyways, Notre Dame bias talking here, by the way, in case you aren't. Anyways, I think Green Bay needs a lot of help. I agree with the offensive help, but I think their mindset's going to be, we need some people to stop the other team from scoring. So with that mindset, I believe they're going to go with the safety out of Alabama, Brian Branch.
Brian Branch, good choice. I have him going a little later. Spoiler alert, he is in my first round. Next up, Goodell is walking up to let Kyle tell you who the Washington Commanders are taking. Take it away, Goodell.
They're taking Donald Trump 2024.
Taking him to jail, maybe.
So the Commanders need some help too. They need cornerbacks, they need tight ends, they need a quarterback as well. The center, they need some linemen. I believe the Commanders here are going to take defense. They're going to go with the kid out of Maryland, Deonte Banks, cornerback.
Okay, I have them going offensive line. I think they're going to try to roll with Sam Howell. They've got a pretty decent offense. They've got Scary Terry. You've got some decent running backs. They're going with Sam Howell. Again, I can't say that enough, and it doesn't feel right every time I say it. I have them taking offensive lineman Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
Very nice.
Bolstering that lineup just to be nice and tough. Keep the quarterback upright. Very unsexy pick when you get an offensive lineman in the mid-first round pick, but just the way she goes. Next up, pick number 17 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This pick is just everybody and their brother has these guys linked together.
Yep,
so
I know.
You're going to the same one.
Same fucking page.
So we'll just, Goodell, don't even get out of your seat, buddy.
Don't even
Just stay
fucking
there.
ring the bell.
They are, I think I'm speaking for both of us with Joey Porter Jr.,
Absolutely.
cornerback out of Penetrate State University. Oh, I'm sorry. That's only when
Sandusky was there.
Jerry Sandusky was there. Now it's just Penn State.
Yeah,
we have them taken. They need cornerback help.
It would just the story writes itself here.
Joey Porter was, of course, a longtime linebacker for the Steelers. He is now an assistant coach.
I can't
on defense.
wait for the Steelers fans to be like, "Oh, we're going to
they're
going to
love the pick, just like when they took Cam Hayward's brother last year. Remember? Everybody telling me how great he was going to be.
Midget Hayward.
He had like 3 catches all year, and they were all against the Browns. So that doesn't say much because the Browns were not very good. So I don't even care. This was when we still had Joe Woods as defensive coordinator. So none of that counts.
Yeah, fuck this team.
So yeah, Joey Porter Jr. is the consensus for literally. You look at almost any mock draft, they have Joey Porter Jr. Linked there. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going with that too.
I almost put him in the Commanders, but then I'm like, just slide him down to Pittsburgh because he's going
it's
there.
Too easy for that pick.
I would not even doubt it if Pittsburgh doesn't get a little nervous and tries to trade up with the Commanders just so they can secure.
Yeah, they don't want to lose him
because they're that fucking stupid.
I could see it.
Anyways,
next up, the Detroit Lions are back on the clock. This is their original pick here at 18.
Yes.
Again, I have them taking Jalen Carter, the potential number 1 prospect in this draft class.
Pick.
So again, just swinging for the fences. You got the number 1 prospect at pick number, 6?
Yep.
For free, just fell into your lap. Now you have your own pick. Time to kind of help your team out, which with a team that doesn't need a ton.
Yeah.
They were really good last year. I think they could put some shit together if they do this right. So Goodell, take it away. I think Kyle, you're up.
I believe it's me. And they stay on the defensive side, in my opinion. I think they go after the cornerback out of Kansas State, Julius Brent. I think they're going to load up on that defense. It's going to be a very scary defense next year.
I am going on the opposite side of the ball.
Ooh.
I am going with, again, they have 2 first-round picks. They were a team that was 1 win away from making the playoffs, which was great for them because I thought they were going to suck. Now you can really load up that fucking offense by taking what a lot of people think is a Saquon Barkley-esque running back and Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas.
I have him going, but later. Yeah.
I have him going here because I've seen some mocks where they think he could be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
He could be a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
I said, fuck it.
I just think
Detroit
running backs are so just underappreciated nowadays in the first round.
I look at it, though, as their team. You have Jared Goff, who is a very Jekyll and Hyde quarterback. He can look really good, and he can look like shit. They have a really good wide receivers. Obviously, they've got Amara St. Brown. They've got Jamison Williams. They've got decent
My
talent.
fantasy baby right there.
I mean,
St. Brown.
Amara St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league, and he's doing it with Jared Goff, who, again, he can have a good game. He can have a bad game. What can really help a quarterback that's Jekyll and Hyde? A great running game. Look at what, I'm not trying to make fun of him because, again, I don't mean to bring him up and just shit on him every time. Baker Mayfield. What really helped bail Baker
Let's
Mayfield
save
out?
the Baker Mayfield slander for the next pick here.
I'm not even going to talk. You mean Kyle Trask? That's his team. But honestly, though, when you take a quarterback like that, same thing with Jared Goff. Jared Goff's best years were when Todd Gurley was great. Baker Mayfield looked great when Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were killing it. What's going to help Detroit? Get that run game. They lost Jamal Williams in the offseason. They did add
I like Jamal Williams a lot.
David Montgomery, but David Montgomery has proven when he was with the Bears that he couldn't stay healthy. He's not a true number one
He's also
workhorse.
getting older too.
Yeah, he's no spring chicken in running back years. He's old. So Bijan Robinson, I think, really would open up that fucking offense. So I have them taking him here because, again, they already got Jalen Carter. You got the steal of the draft to help your defense out. You got Hutchinson and you got Carter on the defensive line. Worry about your secondary with your other picks.
NFC North champions next year?
Not ready to crown them yet. We'll see how they do in this draft.
Okie dokie.
We'll see how they do it. If they follow my method here, Dan Campbell, I know you're watching. If you do what I'm telling you right here tomorrow night, you're in good shape.
I like it.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They are on the clock. Mr. Goodell is heading up to the podium right now, and I'm going to tell you who is going to be helping Kyle Trask potentially win games, or at least keep him upright. And that's going to be Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle out of Tennessee, is who I have going here. They need offensive lineman help. And offensive tackle is their number one glaring need. Darnell Wright, to me, is a no-brainer pick. It's a smart pick. It's a safe pick.
So my pick was more spiteful than anything.
Okay.
It's because he fell here. I had nowhere else to really slot him in. But I think because they look at their quarterback room and go, ugh, that's what we have going into this season.
I forgot you don't have this guy off the board yet.
I think Will Levis goes here.
Okay.
Quarterback out of Kentucky, just because I feel he could be great. And he'd be someone who comes in probably week 5, week 6 when Baker throws another shoulder out.
Did you see the Will Levis shit about what he does in his spare time?
No.
Like behind the scenes? This is not a joke. This is just to show you that they will have.
Don't tell me it's ayahuasca and shit.
No, it's worse.
Okay.
They will have the whitest quarterback room in NFL history. No bullshit. Will Levis, he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
He puts mayonnaise in his coffee, and this is no joke. He's done it on video to prove it because people have called him out. And he also eats his bananas with the peel
skin
on.
That's not white. That's serial killer bullshit right there.
Right, but the mayo in the coffee, that's the whitest shit you can do. I've seen the movie Undercover Brother. I know what mayo stands for, and it makes him white as fuck. I love that movie, by the way. That's a great movie.
Ebony!
When he has that fucking watch that squirts out the hot sauce because they put mayo on a sandwich, I fucking die every time I see that.
So I just think that because I don't have him going anywhere else, I feel if he falls this far, they're going to look at the quarterback room and go, you know what, we got to get this guy right now.
All right, next up, pick number 20, the Seattle Seahawks are back on the clock with their original pick.
Yeah, so
again, they're another team kind of playing with house money. Fuck around with your first pick, take whatever you want. Pick number 2, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to draft for the Seahawks. They have some holes. They need a tight end. They need cornerback help, defensive line help, guard, linebacker, wide receiver, and they could use a quarterback, of course. At this spot, though, not a lot of value in any of those positions. So again, I look at best player available. For me, you already took Tyree Wilson. You got your defensive end. Now they need defensive tackle help.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where I have them taking none other than Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh.
Good pick. Good pick.
Was it my pick there or was it yours? I think it was yours.
It was mine, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's all
It's
good.
your show. I just live in your fantasy world here.
Damn right. Thank you, Greg. For those of you that watched last week that know that Greg was not too pleased with me talking over him, and I get going. I can't help it. I'm not good. I'm not good for having guests
I've
on.
been here long enough. I know the keys. I know the tendencies.
That's truly why we don't have many guests on. Because
Newcomers come on.
I run this shit. I can't help it. I forget there's other people here.
Anyways, it's a great pick. My pick here is have him going on the other side of the ball. I have him taking Osiris Torrance out of Florida, the offensive lineman. I think they need to protect the person they just signed for a 2-year deal.
Mr. Geno
Smith.
Geno Smith and Wesson.
Hope he's not a flash in the pan
gun.
Smith.
He is. Who just gets good 10 years into their career.
I know, right? But I haven't taken offensive lineman here. So Osiris Torrance out of Florida.
All right, next up, Mr. Goodell's walking on the stage to let us know who the Los Angeles Chargers are going to take.
So they need help. They need
They need
defense,
lot.
linebacker, offense,
Both
edge,
sides.
wide receiver, safety. I have them giving a weapon to Mr. Justin Herbert, though. I have him going to Boston College and bringing Mr. Zay Flowers to the Chargers.
Ooh, okay. That's a good pick. I actually have, spoiler alert, I have Zay Flowers going very shortly after this pick. For me, for the Chargers, I look at both ways. I look at, you have, as you said, they do need weapons. They got to help Herbert. I thought about giving them a tight end here. I thought about giving them a wide receiver. And then I realized the Khalil Mack experiment is not working.
No, not at all.
Joey
What a letdown.
Bosa is struggling to stay healthy. He's not getting any younger. They really need some defensive end help. And in that tough division that they're in, you got to get to the quarterback. You're playing against Patrick Mahomes. You're now playing against Jimmy Garoppolo, which doesn't mean shit. And then potentially, who knows what kind of Russell Wilson you're going to get with the Broncos. So you need some pass rushing. With that being said, I have them taking Miles Murphy, defensive end out of Clemson here. I think they're going to go with the defensive end. I think there's more value there. I think in the second round, third round, there's really good wide receivers to be had.
Mhm.
I think the drop off of talent from defensive end into the later rounds is way farther than wide receiver. So for me, I would wait for a wide receiver from the Chargers, get him a weapon later.
I've got him coming off the board
so-
very shortly.
Yeah, I've got Miles Murphy going.
Good pick.
And then now, Mr. Goodell, please get up there for the Ravens because I have their pick ready already. Signing Odell Beckham was just the tip of the iceberg. They're trying to get some weapons for
Just a tip.
just the tip. We'll get to that. Actually, I don't even have a tip for the end of this episode.
No, because this is a very we're
it's a
focused.
quick one.
We're focused.
The Cavs game's underway. I'm trying to focus on the show. It's a whole thing. But I have them taking Zay Flowers, the wide receiver out of Boston College, because everything I've read, Baltimore is in love with this kid. He's another one that's similar to who is it that we were talking about? Joey Porter.
Yeah.
He's another one that everything you see is saying that they love this guy. Zay Flowers is
just
gonna
a
be the
quick
pick.
move down the road.
Yeah, not far at all. So good pick for them. They're just trying to get some weapons, and hopefully it works out for Lamar, because so far they've had really bad issues getting a wide receiver in there.
I like that. I just can't get past the Ravens never ever not drafting defense in the first round.
Sure.
So I
mean, they take a lot of Hollywood Brown was
Yeah,
a first round pick. I think Rashad Bateman was
it
a
late?
first round pick.
I thought that was second round pick.
No, I think they were all like
Was it?
in the 20s,
Okay, maybe I'm
and
incorrect. It's
neither of
okay.
them were good.
Check the facts. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways,
There's a good chance.
I have him drafting defense here. I have him actually going cornerback, taking Emmanuel Forbes.
Which they do need a
out
corner, so
of
that's not a bad
Mississippi
pick.
State.
That is not a bad pick at all. I am going to fact check myself because I think I'm right, and I like being right. So
We don't have time for you to fact check yourself here.
I would 100% have time. Next up, we will move on as I fact
The
check.
Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. Mr. Goodell. Let Kyle take it away.
So in the offseason, the Vikings lost Adam Thielen to whatever they cut him, correct? I believe, or he just didn't get signed. Re-signed.
He was released, and he
Released.
signed with the Carolina Panthers.
So I have them going and replacing Mr. Adam Thielen with the wide receiver out of USC, Jordan Addison.
All right. Jordan Addison, good pick. I have them going. They need defensive help in the worst way. Their cornerback situation is not good. So I have them going defense. I have them taking Brian Branch, the defensive back out of Alabama.
Like it.
Brian Branch is a little undersized, but he can play safety. He can play corner. Very versatile. I think he'd be really good for that defense because they need the help at that spot. So I'm going with Brian Branch there. And we have Rashad Bateman. It doesn't tell me there it is. Rashad Bateman was the 27th pick of the 2021 draft. So there's
okay.
one.
Here we go. We're gonna waste time because he
And
wants
then
to prove himself.
Marquise Hollywood Brown
Oh,
is
man.
definitely, I think he was a top 20 pick, actually. Marquise Hollywood Brown is Mr. Goodell is on his way up for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll get to that really quick.
Tim, what's that button that we like using nowadays? Can you just go ahead and layer that?
No.
over what he
That's
says
only for
next?
when we talk about
and
other shows on Friday night.
That makes sense.
So Rashad Bateman, I'm sorry, I looked him up. I'm looking up Marquise Hollywood Brown. He was a first round pick in the 2019 draft. He was, of course, pick number 25. So I was
Ooh.
right.
Okay, are we done now?
2 first round picks. We are now because I'm right.
Lakers losing right now.
I know it's not looking good for them in this series.
Anyways, so next up we have the Jags.
The Jaguars are making the pick, and Mr. Goodell is ready to announce it. Jacksonville is going to go with a defensive back as well. They're going with Deontay Banks, cornerback out of Maryland,
Great pick.
because their secondary stinks.
Yeah,
Quite
They-
frankly.
I had them staying on the defensive side here. I had them going with Miles Murphy, defensive
Defensive end out of Clemson.
Yes.
Good pick. Next up, we have the 25th overall pick for the New York Football Giants, who have added Darren Waller. They have signed Danny Dimes to a huge contract. Saquon Barkley is still looking for that paycheck. Their young wide receivers were pretty good. It got them to the playoffs last year. Their defense actually was very good.
Mhm.
They're a surprising team. They had Kyle's coach of the year, Brian Daboll, head coach of
Yes.
the Buffalo Bills, moonlighting.
He double coached last year.
Sean McDermott / Brian Daboll. Have you ever seen the two of them in the same room? Because I have.
They're the same people. One wears a
might
fat
be.
suit, one doesn't. It's okay.
And with that being said, they are making their pick. Mr. Goodell is going to head on up, and Kyle's going to start.
So I believe Danny Dimes needs some extra weapons. I think they're going to go after the kid out of TCU, Quentin Johnson, going to the Giants here.
Okay. I have them taking a wide receiver, but I have them taking Jordan Addison,
Okay.
wide receiver out of USC. So I agree with you. They do need a legit number one wide receiver. We just have different people going. So
Okay.
Jordan Addison is the pick for me.
Same mindset.
Yeah, we're in the ballpark. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, and I think Jerry will tell Goodell, run to the podium for this pick. This is somebody that I've seen linked to them a million times. But Kyle, go first.
No, I went first last time.
Did you?
I did. I took the Giants.
Oh, yeah, you did. Good call.
How short is your memory right now?
Very short. Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer is the pick from the Notre Dame tight end. I think he goes to Dallas. They are all about offense. They're in a win now situation with Dak, with trading for Brandon Cooks, with CeeDee Lamb. It is win now. So I have Michael Mayer.
So I have them taking a tight end as well, but I have them taking Sam Laporte out of Iowa.
Do you have Michael Mayer off the board yet?
Not yet.
Weren't you just talking about how great he was?
He is great, but I feel
had
that
him going before you.
he's a better
Wow.
fit for this team coming up.
It shows Kyle's
He's
true
a
fandom.
better fit coming for this team coming up.
I've everything I've seen says that Michael Mayer, the Cowboys love him and they're taking him in a heartbeat. Next up, pick number 27 is the Buffalo Bills, and Mr. Goodell is ready to tell you who Buffalo will be letting join the herd.
So this one was hard for me. I was trying to see what would be a great fit for Buffalo, but this is where I slotted in Bijan Robinson, the running back. I feel
That would make sense if he's still there. That would actually make perfect sense.
I mean, Buffalo's never had a solid running back. They've kind of plug and played.
They've tried.
So I believe that if he's still there, great fit, good pick for the Buffalo Bills here.
They have definitely tried to get a running back. They took what the fuck was the other guy's name? Zach Moss a couple years ago. Last year they took Dalvin Cook's brother, who didn't live up to the hype. They traded for Naheem Hines, who couldn't do anything. They've tried.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys saw last week. Josh Allen talked about how he's changing he's going to have to change his ways. He can't run as much anymore.
Yeah.
He understands the longevity will not be there if he doesn't start being a pocket passer. So with that being said, I think they help him out. They get him a new weapon. Stephon Diggs isn't getting any younger. Gabriel Davis is just a fast receiver. He's nothing special. So they're going to get him a weapon. This is where I have Quentin Johnson going off the board, wide receiver out of TCU, a little extra weapon. Because when you're picking in the late 20s like this, it's just draft whoever the fuck you want. And I think they could go for a wide receiver. They could also go for a linebacker. That wouldn't surprise me at all. There's a few people to keep a lookout for. But I just figured, fuck it, I'm going wide receiver. It makes the most sense.
Next up,
Goodell is walking up for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I have them taking Brian Brees, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. This is where I have him going. They need a defensive tackle really badly. And just so happen to have a pretty decent one slide to him right here.
I like it. I'm giving him a weapon, and it's the tight end at Notre Dame here. Michael Myers going into Cincinnati Bengals here.
All right. That would make sense if he's still there. I don't have him there. I think Jerry would literally run to the podium to let them know that he's taking him. But tight end makes a ton of sense. You got Joe Burrow. You've got Jamar Chase. You've got T. Higgins. You've got these young, good core offensive players. Throw a tight end in there. Make it a little harder for defenses. Who the fuck are you going to stop?
Right.
Next up, the New Orleans Saints have this pick that used to be San Francisco's. Then it went to Miami. Then it went to Denver. And now it's with New Orleans. And Goodell is ready to let Kyle tell you who they're picking.
I have them going defensive line, Brian Brees.
Okay, good choice. I have them going defensive line as well, just a different player, because obviously Brian Brees is off the board. I have them taking Adetomiwa Adebowoye, or however you say his fucking last name. He's a defensive tackle out of Northwestern. His name is a nightmare, but that's how it is. I didn't name him. So I have them taking a defensive tackle as well. I think he's just, again, best player available. You go for a good position of need. Defensive tackle is definitely one of them. So both have them going DT.
Like it.
Next up, pick number 30, the defending Super Bowl runner-ups, Philadelphia Eagles, have their original pick here at pick number 30 because, again, the Miami Dolphins are forfeiting their first-round pick because of penalty from the NFL. I love it. And the Eagles are on the clock. And Goodell is ready, and I'm ready. Philadelphia Eagles with the 30th overall pick take Mazzie Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan, to really bolster up that defensive line. Fletcher Cox is not getting any younger. Here is his replacement. Brandon Graham is not getting any younger, so I had them drafting Lucas Van Ness in the first round to get his replacement. This is just future picks. This is cheap. You just gave Jalen Hurts that huge contract. Now you got to get some cheap guys coming in on rookie deals. Boom.
I like it. I had them taking a cornerback in the earlier pick for them, so I'm sticking on a defensive side. I have taken Nolan Smith here out of Georgia.
I think I had Nolan Smith going in like top 10. So that's
Yeah.
a hell of a slide
Yeah,
for him.
hell of a slide, I know.
And number 31, the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, Roger Goodell. Head on up, my man.
And with the last pick of the first round, I have the Kansas City Chiefs just adding some more protection up front for Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Anton Harrison, Oklahoma offensive tackle.
Good choice. I have them going on the opposite side. I have them getting an edge rusher because they need a little bit of help on that D line. I have them taking BJ Ojulari, defensive end out of LSU.
Nice.
And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes
The
your
first round.
2023 Talking About Balls first round mock draft.
This is our fourth annual time we've done this.
At least. I do a mock draft every year, but doing one on a show is really
It's
fun
always
and
fun
going
to go back
and forth.
and compare and see. And for the most part, we had some. It's always the first 10
You're
or
in the
12.
ballpark.
Yeah.
You're in the ballpark. Again, what's going to happen is a team will make some crazy trades. It's going to fuck everything up. It is what it is. We're just about an hour. We want to wrap up. The Cavs game's underway. So we want to quickly, I'll give you guys a couple names to look out for the Browns for the weekend, for the next few nights.
And I got a tip for him this week too.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Hell yeah. Well, we'll do these Browns things really quick, and then we're going to
you
get to the
can
end of the show.
Sneak your tip in the back end there. Thanks.
All right. All right, let's do it. The Browns need a lot, mostly just depth.
Mhm.
So we need offensive line depth. We need a tight end. We need a running back, wide receiver depth, defensive end depth, tackle depth, linebacker depth, safety, and corner depth. They could literally take just about anybody at any
They're
position.
drafting Tim.
They're going to draft Timbuktu in the third round. They're going to pay him in chicken wings, and it's going to be fucking perfect. And that's per his request. He is his own agent, like Lamar Jackson, and he just asked for guaranteed chicken wings, not a guaranteed
Unlimited
contract.
chicken wings.
I would do that deal, dude. Chicken wings are so fucking good. I love chicken wings.
Either unlimited chicken wings or unlimited sushi.
They'll hold better value than crypto.
Ooh.
They'll hold better
I
value
think
than crypto does. So you're
I
fine.
would probably
with
go
that.
with chicken.
I would go chicken wings.
I would go chicken wings. I think.
I
I
I'm
love
winning
sushi
either
though.
way.
Dude,
Yeah, no question. I love sushi.
I killed a thing of 20 chicken parmesan last night. Parmesan garlic wings last night. Oh, 20 of them, so good.
I love like wings. You could do anything too, but sushi's the same way. It's so versatile. Like you could get it. There's so many. Oh god damn it, Tim! Now you're making me hungry. Maybe I'll get chicken wings for the first round tomorrow at the draft when
There
I'm
you
in
go.
Disney. I'll see what I don't know what the fucking menus are down there. I haven't been to Disney in like 20 years.
You could go to Epcot, go to Japan, and get some.
I'll
some
be at the
sushi.
Hibachi in Epcot. Actually, I think we have reservations there for Friday night. I think.
Nice.
I asked my buddy today where they're all at. We're doing an Italian place, a Japanese place, and then Saturday night is an Irish pub called Raglan Road. My friend said that's his favorite place in Disney. I don't know. That's where we're going.
Awesome.
All right. So some names for you guys to look out for, just based on some charts that I've seen for people that have dialed in on what Andrew Berry's track record shows. Here's just some names. Again, I'm not saying we're going to take any of these guys. These are just guys that if we take them, you heard it here first, because this is just what I saw. A little research. It's going to get kind of boring and it's going to get kind of repetitive, but I'm just going to read down from the list top to bottom in no particular order. Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. Jamie Robinson, safety out of Florida State. Demel Washington, tight end out of Georgia. Tyler Scott, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. Rasheed Price, wide receiver out of Southern Methodist University, SMU.
My brother.
His name's Rice.
Oh, sorry.
Ray Rice's cousin. Just he doesn't beat women. I'm just kidding. I don't think they're related. I don't want to put that red flag on anybody. I gotta really preface that.
Browns would give him a
Don't-
chance.
don't
though.
sue
It's
me.
Okay.
Derek Hall, edge from Auburn. Tucker Kraft, tight end from San Diego State University. Blake Freeland, offensive tackle, BYU. Yasir Abdullah, edge out of Louisville. Marvin Mims, wide receiver, Oklahoma. DJ Turner, cornerback, Michigan. Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Nick Hampton, edge, Appalachian State. And Dorian Williams, linebacker from Tulane. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just a little list to look for. But again, the positions that I mentioned are positions to look out for. The Browns are more than likely going to, I know I named almost 70% of a roster, but that's all we need is depth. We're drafting our first round or our first pick in the third round. You're not getting a day one starter. You're hoping in the future
we've gotten
that
lucky
you're getting
with
a
third round
starter.
picks before.
But right
so.
now, you're just getting depth. We might need a defensive tackle because Perry and Winfrey might be in the clink. Who knows what's going to happen with that guy? So this is just depth. And that's my
I'm in the clink.
my Browns watch
with
list
the Dementos.
for those of you at home.
Tim's got a tip.
And now we're at the end of the show. So let's do just the tip and we will wrap up this draft special. I don't have a picture for mine. I forgot to send it in. Actually, I'll email it to Tim right now because we're live. We do it live.
Doing it live.
Well, my tip is just like last week. We're getting closer to the show. It's on the 28th, which is this Sunday. This Friday. So 2 days from now. You should definitely come out. It is BYOB at the 612 Event Center. It's at 2578 Miles Road in Bedford Heights, Ohio, 44146. $20 to come in, man, and $20 you get 4 great comedians. It's hosted by Sean Boyd. Miss KT will be featuring. So the podcast Just Therapy will be in the building with me, Timbuktu, and it will be headlined by Katrina Brown. I haven't seen her yet. I haven't seen her comedy yet, but I'm excited to see her because I've heard so many good things about her. So I know she has to be funny, especially to be headlining Sean Boyd's show. $20 BYOB. So you spend $20 and buy your bottle somewhere. You can drink all night, have a good time. With this kind of place, it could be BYOB as in beer and bud. So, come. I'm not saying you can, but bring it. Bring it.
But Tim's also no narc.
Right.
We respect that.
Bring it because we can always go in the parking lot. I'm just saying, come out, have a good time.
Meet him out back by the trash cans.
Exactly. Or we could just sit in my car.
That's true. $20 make you holler, BYOB. Go check it out. Check out our boy Tim. That's 2 nights from now, April 28th. Check that shit out. Be there, be square. I mean, come on, guys. How many times we got to tell you to go check out Tim? He's funny as fuck. I saw Tim play an intimate show in Kyle's basement before. How cool is that? Tim, I emailed you my tip. I apologize for not getting that in last night like a professional.
I have a tip as well. I don't have a picture for it, though. But last
fair.
week, I talked about a podcast I've been listening to that goes in some deep dives of some of our historical scandals. And the first one it talks about Watergate, back when Nixon was president. And I didn't realize this at the time, but there's a book written about it. It's called All the President's Men. And they actually turned that book into a movie. It's about Deep Throat, the guy who kind of was the person feeding the Washington Post all the inside information.
I only know that as Linda Lovelace.
Okay, well, this is different.
That's
Deep
the
Throat.
real Deep Throat.
So All the President's Men, it's a Robert Redford movie. It's 1976, so it's old. I get it. All the old jokes. Go ahead, start with it. It's fine. But I watched the movie last week.
Kyle watched that in college.
I watched the movie last week, and it's actually really good. It holds up.
Old man, you said it?
All the President's Men.
No, Kyle's just the old man.
And so it holds up. And if you know a lot about Watergate and you really want to watch it kind of come together, it talks about how the investigators kind of, once they had the break-ins, they looked into how the people who broke into it, where the money came from, people who got, checks cashed in their name. And then they start getting fed this information from this person who's a very sensitive source, later to become known as Deep Throat, so on and so forth. But it's a great movie. If you're into that kind of stuff, that's my tip of the week.
2 seconds. Talk about it for 2 more seconds.
2 more seconds. Actually, it's really weird watching it. There it is. Boom. That's really weird looking at it because
Look at how good Tim is. God damn.
Look how young Robert Redford is. Look at him. What a stud. But it's a good movie, though. It's about 2 hours long, but it's definitely something I recommend if you're into that kind of stuff. It actually tells a good story. I mean, it came out in 76. Watergate happened in 72. So this movie was out 4 years after it took place. So it's fresh.
Is that Robert Redford's the one on the right, correct?
Yes.
And the one on the left, is that the dad from, I can't remember his fucking name.
It's Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman from Meet the Fockers. That's
Yes.
it. Okay. I knew
That's
it
him.
looked just like him.
A very young Dustin Hoffman.
Couldn't
as well.
remember his name.
Yes. But it's a good movie. That's my tip of the week, is to not just watch new movies, go back in time, watch some of these old movies too.
All right, that's fair. Normally, when Kyle recommends an old movie, I've gone back and watched it, and I have not liked it. Hasn't gone well for me. Like Top Gun, that movie sucked. The one from the
Great
80s.
movie.
Top Gun is fucking amazing.
Thanks,
when you
Tim.
watch it for the first time in 2023 or whatever, Tim, it's not amazing. It sucked. It was not good when I watched it. I was like, this fucking, I can't believe this shit was popular, but I digress. All right, my tip for the week is a new horror movie that just came out last week on the 21st. It is Evil Dead Rise.
I'm so excited to see
It's great. I saw it on Saturday, the 22nd. Checked it out. Couldn't wait. Had to go see it opening weekend. I love Evil Dead. Obviously, this one's not like the original. The original is a goofy, funny movie. It's not meant to be taken that seriously. This one is. This one's a legit horror movie. Fantastic. Go check it out. Keep horror alive. I love
Is it true that he makes a cameo in it, but you can't tell it's him?
Yeah, I'll have to watch it 1,000 more times to
Okay.
figure it out. He even says like he'll give anybody that can find him $50 because it's that
Nice.
hard. So
Nice.
there was no chance. And you're just seeing it in the theater. You're so zoned into it. Keep horror alive. Horror movies are coming out in bunches right now. They got this last week. The trailer for Insidious 5 just dropped. Looks
good.
incredible.
Looks
I love
great.
horror movies, obviously. So check out Evil Dead Rise and tell them and tell me what you think.
Can't wait.
Looking forward to it. So check that out, everybody. That is our draft special. I have no quote at the end of this one. I just kind of want to wrap it up and say go Cavs. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Go Browns, for that matter, drafting this weekend. Go Tim with his show on Friday night. Check that out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's our draft special 2023. I love doing this. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I'm going to go ahead and head home and get myself packed up and ready. I got a plane to catch. I'm heading to Orlando. I'm going to see Disney.
On a behalf of talking about balls, suck them.
Suck them. You know who you are. See you, everybody.
Redline Radio LLC